All right, this week we have a hip-hop icon that started with a music career back in the 90s. He went on to be arguably the beacon of hip-hop fashion for nearly a full decade. Before social media was even a thing, if you want to know what was good in hip-hop fashion, you looked at him. His forward-thinking prowess has elevated his career in the last 30 years to stretch throughout many avenues of entertainment, fashion, sports, and reality TV. This man has redefined what it means to be a true self-starter. And that's kind of the reason why I bigly needed to have him on the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
The one, the only, the founder of Vampire Life Enterprises, and most notably, Dipset, Jim Jones.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for the dope introduction.
That was my test to see if I could be your new hype man. How'd I do?
You did pretty good. I mean, you definitely explained to people who I was.
So tell me, what are you up to right now? Like, what's the life of Jim Jones? Tell me about Vampire Life.
Vampire Life, record label and distribution company. Two sides of that. I got artists that I prioritize in, and then I have a slew of artists that I just strictly distribute their music. A lot of them I haven't met personally. So I'm upwards of 200-300 artists of distribution side, and then about
under Vampire Life, you have 200 plus artists. How many years has this been in the making?
Probably on like the third year.
It's a lot, no?
Well, I mean, I've been doing business with Empire for a long time, and then there was guys gave me the ability to have my own incubator label under Empire Distribution, which allowed me to do the same thing that he did when he first started his company. So it's great because I catch an artist that gets a buzz, and I get to upstream them to their big label. And
that's important. But speaking about it as an incubator, are you selective as with the artists that you work with, or how does that work? With
the artists that I prioritize, and yes, and the artists that I take a liking to, yeah, I'm very selective. But as far as the artists that are seeking distribution, I have no.
The ones you take a liking to, what's that you look for?
It could be a variable of so many things, because I've been in the game so long. So if I see something from a person that sticks out to me, and in my mind, if I can help them add all the other things to it, then I can help them become a star.
Amen. And a lot of the times when you look at an artist that's got it, do they usually remind you of somebody from the last like 20, 30 years?
In some cases, and then in some cases, like a whole new wave, a breath of fresh air that I haven't seen. So it's like, wow.
It's hard to think to have a breath of fresh air and already in 2024 with, as old as hip hop is, and the concept of stealing like an artist, taking some flavor. I mean, sampling the beat.
We all take a little bit of flavor and things
always.
Like that. I mean, but right now music is always evolving. It's way different than it was now than it was when we was coming up. You know what I mean? They created their own thing with this drill music, the sexy drill music, the trap music. Like it's a little bit different.
No, it's definitely evolved somewhere where it's more palatable for a wider audience when we're talking about drill.
Yeah.
Right.
So it varies on how you pick an artist and things like that. It's not really about the music, you know what I mean? It's about for me, it's always been about the feeling. I mean, the music is a very important part, but the feeling that the artist gives you is more than just being able to rap or create a song.
Right, you feel it in the gut. So let's take it back. Let's go back to the 90s. Where did it all begin? Before you were Jim Jones.
Oh, where did it all begin?
Where did it all begin? Before you were Jim Jones. Before you were Jimmy Jones.
Before Jimmy Jones, I was Jomo. That was in the 90s when I moved to Harlem around 88, 89. Well, I've always been back and forth to Harlem through all my whole life. It's where I went to school and things like that. I was actually born in Harlem, what people don't know. But my family were from the Bronx. They had houses in the Bronx. But in about 88, 89, I actually had to make a transition to moving to Harlem and the projects, Taft Projects, on 12th and 5th Avenue, 12th Street. I'm a 12th Street nigga. But in that projects, my name was Jomo, and Jomo was no different than who Jim Jones was. It's just when
he was like a little seed, and then you just watered it, and bam.
100%. I became a full-blown version of who I am when I was able to get into the rap music, things like that. But for the likes of me, I haven't changed too much from since I was a young kid.
No, if anything, you've only elevated your game. I mean, would you say in the early 90s, coming through the ranks, that you were a hype man that learned how to rap better and better, the freestyles got better and better, and then you blew up?
I never was a hype man. Cam was my nigga. You heard? And we all had to take a position so that we could make sure he was successful, so we all could be successful. Hype man was just one of the jobs that I took in the very beginning so I could help the whole situation. I did hype man, I did security, I did management, I did road management, I did everything. I engineered his albums, I did marketing, I did consulting, I did every job you could imagine. I directed most of the videos that you're seeing from Diplomats during that era. I was a jack of all trades. You know what that means, right?
Amen.
So that's what it was about. It was about doing whatever we needed to do to make Cam become that person so that could reciprocate back on us and things like that. And it worked. If I had to clean up garbage, I would at that time, if it helped what we was doing. You know what I mean?
And that was Jimmy Jones.
That was Jim Jones at that time.
And then when did Jimmy Jones become Jim Jones?
It always was just Jimmy Jones. That was a name that Cam gave me through the music. After people know her for Jomo. I had a quick rap name where I was calling myself Jesus back in the
Just
day.
Jesus?
Hey, Jesus. I had long hair and shit like that. And then Cam said something in his rap. See Jimmy Jones fronting in the chancletas. And the Jimmy Jones just stuck with me and things like that.
I mean, it's a lot better than Jesus.
Yeah, it is. But when you in the hood coming up as wild as I was and going through so much, I was going through a lot and just trying to figure out what name could probably strike a nerve the most. We was real rebellious like that coming up. But Jim Jones was just shorter. He sounded a little bit better as I got older. But Capital was a whole different person. That's a person that evolved from Jimmy and Jim Jones into who I am now.
And would you say that was like the early 2000s?
No, the early 2000s, I definitely was Jim Jones. Jim Jones, the shit starter, not the self starter, the shit starter.
For this show, we're gonna rename it the shit starter.
The shit starter.
So I mean, this is gonna be episode 1.
Okay.
So we're gonna start episode 1 with the shit starter, not the self starter.
Shit starter.
Although everything that you're telling me that you did while working with the crew literally molded this entrepreneur, and I hate the word entrepreneur. It projected this boss.
I mean, yeah, it definitely gave me a chance to be hands-on in things that I wanted to do, the things that I had a passion of doing since I was younger, and I was being as creative I can in a space that allows it. I mean, when you're in the street, your creativity is, you know what I mean, it's kind of put in a box when you got to do so many different things as far as hustling, running through the streets and things like that. And knowing that my friends were some of the dopest rappers when we were coming up, and they had an art that probably could take us to different heights. It was, this creativity started to burn inside of me, and me being able to be in that space to create more was every direction I wanted to be in. I mean, since I was a kid and turning my whole house into a G.I. Joe battlefield, or things like that. The creativity was from a long time ago. It just got iller as I got older. Fashion, I've been dressing since I was 6. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, you were the fashion guy. You were fashion when it came to hip hop. Fair to say?
Yeah, I think I'm fair to say. I think I cemented a blueprint that still sticks to this day. It's probably even more prevalent now than it was when I was coming up.
Absolutely.
So
So when did you see that big jump? Was it like the early 2000s?
The big jump really came when I scored with the Ballin' record. That was the record that I need for me to be a household name and open the doors to people seeing how talented I was and how creative I am and how smart I was. There was a lot of instances before that, but that gave you the actual power. If you know anything about the game, once you got a hit, you got the power. And while you got the power, you got to do what you need to do to secure yourself. But
is it like a ball of fire that like you got to keep adding kerosene to it, and if you don't, it could go out?
100%. And my light went out a few times, but I'm a shit starter. I'm a firecracker. I know how to create fire. You heard?
But by doing that, is it by doing what you did or trying to figure out what's next?
Learning from my mistakes. That's how I'm always be able to create fire, not scared to make a mistake. You know what I mean? And not scared to say I made that mistake.
That's probably from all that experience, from learning from your mistakes. That's probably why right now you're so happy to be working with these young heads, to be able to show them what not to do and how to further their careers. I mean, for them, they got social media now also, which is huge.
Well, you're working with the younger generation is not something. It's something that started from me coming up in Harlem and watching the older heads always putting the younger heads on. That might have not been the dopest thing to do at that time, but it was a different time, and that kind of same thing is what I bring to the table now and things like that. But I'm able to do it in a different light where I'm able to help people make legal money and be successful in a game that everybody dreams to be successful in.
That's what's up. And that with you dipping into all these different ventures, it only speaks more to you literally learning from your mistakes and wanting to be forward thinking with your business prowess.
Yes.
Which is awesome.
Prowess. Business prowess.
Business
I
prowess.
like that word. Prowess.
Yeah. So at what point do you kind of see the fire going out and then you had to kind of rebrand?
I did a lot of things that kind of burnt myself out. Told a lot of people kiss my ass when I was on the way up.
Who's
And
most notable?
when you're on the way up and you're telling, it's just a game period, telling people kiss your ass and you got a hit, they'll kiss your ass. But when you ain't got a hit and you got to come back down to visit them same people, they're going to give you their ass to kiss.
Right, so you're talking like, because I remember where I was when We Fly High was the thing.
Well, I went up against a lot of big people in this industry, and me being as strong as I am wasn't strong enough to beat the powers that be. And there is a such thing called blackball, I could tell you, because I've been through it. But I'm so relentless when it comes to getting back up and showing people that there's nothing that can knock me down.
Who's the first person that blackballed you that when you saw that you were like, I fucked up?
We ain't gonna get into all of that. The way the media works right now, it's not worth it to say names and things like that. Not in my case, because I don't feel like going back into history and how they bring things up. But yeah, I've been in positions where I went up against some of the most powerful people, and if anybody know my story, they know what I'm talking about. And it ended up backfiring on me and things like that. But I was smart enough to figure out how to reinvent myself and get back in the playing field and still giving niggas hell. I'm a shit starter.
Indeed. So as a big shit starter as you are, having a team around you is of utmost importance. Fair to say?
100%. If you ain't got the right team around you, you're going to be on a losing team. You're going to have some trustworthy people that thinks forward like you think and has the same goals that you want to reach, and all like-minded people in the same room and things like that. You know what I mean? And you got to have some people that are actually smarter than you in certain ways.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Indeed. And let's just talk about hip-hop for a little bit.
All right.
We've got Jim Jones on the mic. We got to talk about hip-hop.
All right.
What do you think about hip-hop today versus hip-hop 20, 25 years ago?
It has evolved in so many ways that we only could wish that we had those opportunities 20, 25 years ago.
So you're all about it.
100%. I'm not one of these bitter old heads that's mad that it's not going their way that it used to go. It's over. Your time is over at this point. You should try to meet the medium so you can stay in the game and make some money, because there's enough money for all of us.
So you're talking about like income or style?
Both.
Because like
everything.
Have you've listened to the new Eminem album?
No.
It's like the old Eminem album. Did you like the old Eminem album?
I mean, I listened to Eminem when he was hot at the time. He was a big person in the game. There's no way to avoid Eminem at that time. Like, it just was like Eminem was on top of the game, and what could you do about it? He was nasty. I remember Eminem came out the same time that Cam came out, and this was before people actually
literally around the same time.
Before people actually knew Eminem was white, when we just was hearing him on the radio. And I remember there was a distinction between him and Cam because they both were talking crazy at that time on both of their first albums and shit like that. So yeah, shouts to Eminem.
Would you say that M and Cam got any influence from, let's say, Wu-Tang?
Nah, I mean,
I'm just talking about the vulgarity in the hip hop.
We are fans of Wu-Tang. We let that purple tape rock all summer through without even pressing stop on the stereo and things like that. But we kind of coined our own style from being in Harlem. I mean, like I say, you always take bits and pieces of everything that you're seeing coming up and everything you aspire to be. And then aspiring to be an artist or a rapper and things like that, naturally you've got rappers that you've liked your whole life that you take a little bit from. But for the most part, we created our own thing. That's why we still can have this conversation today about things that we cemented years ago that people could still step on.
Right, and talking about it while also talking about appreciating the youngins that are coming up and what they're bringing to
100%. The youngers are dope, man. I mean, music evolves. There's no way these older cats could think they're going to still be in the game like they used to. You got to give everybody their go. And it's not our go anymore. That's why I'm so adamant about helping and encouraging the young people in the right direction. And if they could get a bit from my story, then shit, that might help them out a little bit. And I ain't trying to impose my will on them, but I've been through a lot in this game, and I can tell you how shit going to go if you listen a little bit. You know what I mean?
What's the biggest lesson you learned on the down?
On the down?
Like, on the down, when you were on your way down, you were up, you were flying high, no pun intended, and then you were on the way down.
The game don't love you. It's like the streets. It's cold. You know what I mean? They only love you when it's worth something to them.
So you got 3.5 million followers on Instagram.
Right.
You got your businesses that are growing.
Right.
How do you feel that social media has influenced the game in the last 15 years?
It's done a lot for the game, especially if you have a brand or a business or you're a person of creativity, of influence. It's a free commercial that the more followers you get, the more people you reach, and it's helped a lot of people make a shitload of money.
That's what's up. You still in contact with Cat?
Who?
Cat Williams?
Cat Williams. I haven't spoke to Cat in a minute, but Zeke and Pone always speak to him and things like that. Shouts to Cat.
So Cat Williams, Pimp Chronicles 1, hands down my favorite stand-up of all time.
Right.
There was probably a year and a half span where any day of the week I'm going to get ready to go out, and bam, I'm just throwing Pimp Chronicles to listen in the background. And that's why I'm always going out, just Dipset.
Yeah, Cat was dope. That was real forward of Cam, forward thinking of Cam to actually sign Cat to the Diplomat label as a comedian. I had never been done before in that capacity, and it was a real dope.
That was huge.
Super huge.
I mean, it really, not that Dipset needed a bigger audience, but it kind of opened it up to a bigger audience.
Yeah. And show people how smart we were also. We were always thinking outside the box of what could add to what we had going on. And that definitely was a great addition to the Diplomat conglomerate.
So, day-to-day right now, you got your record label. Can we talk about VamFit?
Oh, VamFit. Oh, yeah. VamFit.
Me, as someone who's very much into fitness, I'm into it. Right. But I got to know, what's it about?
It's about living longer. It's about living as long as I possibly can. And I know the one way to do that is by staying in shape and moving the body. Movement is medicine. What
was the idea behind VamFit? When did you think about it? When did it become from just an idea to an actual business?
When watching how social media went and how easy it is to gain followers and have them get your own community. And usually, if you could create your own community, you could get them to buy into what you got going on. You know what I mean? If you build it, they'll come.
So what do you want to do with VamFit?
Oh, VamFit is still at the beginning stages, even though people see me marketing and promoting it on the gram for a minute. I have a big plan that I would like to do, but like you said, you as strong as the team around you, and for every business I gotta have the right team to make sure I make the right moves. So, I mean,
I love that. What are you reading right now?
I don't read. Not to say it like that, I can read. But reading has never been my thing. I don't think I ever read a full book. I read Iceberg Slim, Pimp the Story of My Life. That was the only book that I read from front page to last page. But I excelled at school pretty much. School was a joke to me. I graduated 6 months early. That shit wasn't nothing to me.
That's what's up. When looking at the young guys that you're coaching coming up, is there anything that you put in front of them, all right, before we talk, I need you to do this and this and this?
Well, it's 5 things that I have listed on the studio when they walk in that I urge them to do when it comes to them posting to social media if they want to be an artist and things like that to start and gaining followers on. But there's a lot of things I preach them about. I like to preach them more about life than about their art because they are the artists already. It's nothing too much that I can help them with their art when they're doing it. But there's a lot of things about life that they don't teach you when you become an artist, and that's where the disconnect becomes, and you see a lot of better artists coming up because they didn't understand who they was at the time, and I try to show them that they are the business, they are the brand. You are the CEO. That one person, you are the whole company. Everything that comes about are attachment to your company. No matter if the label gave you money, they actually work for you. They're your partner and things like that. And that's just one facet. Then there's other facets of life like credit. I help them more with their credit. I have a lady that helps them get their credit straight. Whether they had credit before, they didn't have credit, their credit is fucked up. I try to show them different things like that. So moving forward, and when they get money, they know how to, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Get to the real world.
Financial literacy is probably one of the most important things that everybody, if not someone who's an independent contractor or an artist, should understand.
100%. I mean, you should understand how money moves and how money is made, especially if you are the money maker and things like that. And it's a lot of ins and outs. So you should be on top of your business no matter what line of business you're with. I don't care who you are and things like that. I had to learn that the hard way by believing in business managers and accountants and just thinking everything will be all right. And that backfired on me also and things like that. And I didn't gain control of my finances until I took control of my finances and things like that. I was way better at doing my finances now than any accountant or business manager could help me with.
How did you sleep back then when you were having issues with that? Were you sleeping well?
I mean, you really don't know you have issues until there's an issue. You know what I mean? And for me, I don't sleep, so I'm always on to the next thing and figuring out the next hustle. I ain't going to stay down. I know how to make money. I always know how to make money. As I got older, I had to learn how to make business, and that's where I'm at right now.
Right, and right now with the influence even growing even more, it opens up different avenues on ways to make money.
100%.
Are you white labeling any products right now?
White labeling any products? Shout outs to Jade. Jade Liquors. I do business with a liquor company called Jade. I don't want to spoil it, but doing pretty good with that.
Is this something that's going on in the future, or is this?
No, it's right now. It's in the stores right now. Champagne. We have cognac also, but we're focusing on the champagne right now with the marketing strategies and all that. We got accounts in Bahamas and a bunch of big hotels. We got some clubs. We in a bunch of stores from East Coast, from up here all the way down to Florida, a little Midwest. You know anything about liquor, you got to get all that shit registered in every state, just like cigarettes. So we well on our way. We're up to like 49, 50 states and things like that. So shouts to the whole J family. There's a few things that I get into. I got a glasses company, frame company, shouts to Vintage Frames, as you see right here. These are VL frames. You see my logo on the side of them, actually holding them. And that's just one style of frames that we have. Vintage Frames is the company that I do the partnership with. Shouts to my man Corey. He's from Canada, dope dude. He's been in the glasses business for his whole life. He's kind of grandfathered in, like in a big way. So
that was probably huge for you.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm saying partnering with him because you didn't just get in with somebody who just like had a name. You got in with somebody who had legacy.
100%. So that was a great move, and I've been going back and forth with him for years. I would see him at a lot of the clothing conventions, Magic and Agenda and all that. He would have elaborate booths and things like that. I go over there, get a couple pair of glasses, like, yo, we need to do some business. And then
right, but for him, it was probably like, all right, I can't wait till we do some business. And then finally, when you were like, all right, let's rock.
It worked. I mean, for him, it was for him. He actually opened the door for me. He was very successful at it, but I guess time don't lie. You dig?
Yeah, but you're young. Mm-hmm. As long as you've been alive, you probably got that many years left. Right? You living to 100?
Probably got more, 150, 200. Who knows?
You trying to break records, I see.
Might be here forever. Depends on what the future brings.
No, I mean, that's what VanFit's all about.
100%.
What other businesses are you working on right now?
What other businesses are we working on right now?
What's your passion? Like, what do you gotta, like, here's what I'm hearing. Correct me if I'm wrong. Uh-huh. You see opportunity, and you jump on it.
I have a few. I
want to know. You see opportunity, and you jump on it. But I want to know, like, in your gut. What's your passion?
I got like an app that I'm doing business with. I've created my own technology at AWS. That's put me in a great space for creating quarantine studios, which I've been working on, trying to get the back end done and all that. Those are a few things that I got that I don't really mention too much. Then there's some businesses that I have that I don't really mention at all because it's not worth it and things like that. Like I got a slew of stores and shit like that.
So you're saying you don't want to mention it just yet because it's not. It's kind of just a baby.
Some things don't need to be mentioned. Like I got
at all or yet.
At all. Like I got stores. The community take care of the store. So why would I need to market and promote something that's already doing extremely successful without me having to market and promote it? And then you have this thing where people kind of hate on anything they can hate on. You know what I mean? And I don't want to.
That's the world we live in, though. And it 100%.
Sucks. So if I have something successful and I don't need to put no room for the hate, then I leave it like that.
Yeah, but like even nowadays, how people are so addicted to their phone, and people are programmed. 70% negativity coming out of most people's bodies.
100%.
So they look to hate.
100%.
So
that's why I don't give them some of the things. I don't give them to look at. They don't even know it's there. You know what I mean?
I do, but by you even just mentioning, business A or B or C that you're saying like doesn't have to be mentioned, that little mention is just showing like, I still got you. It's like an artist that's doing well, but like you're taking care of these artists that are on the come up, and just sending a text to this artist who you still appreciate yet, like just checking in on you, man. I got you.
Something like
goes
that.
a long way.
Goes a long way.
A text goes a long way.
But strategy goes a long way too. Marketing goes a long way also. You dig? Like everything doesn't have to be marketed with my name attached to it. That's what marketing is there for. Every artist that you get is not going to be a hot artist, and that's the task to see if you're a real manager. If you can turn this artist into a household name.
You don't want it to be associated with you because then that takes away the validity of the product.
It doesn't really take away the validity of a project. It leaves that much room for hate. That less room for hate. Like I don't have to deal with anybody or anybody's comments or anybody's opinions on a business that doesn't need.
And for that business, it's like, oh, well, now I see you're only doing this because Jim's attached. Something like that?
Something like that. Or, they don't like that business because Jim's attached, because their personal opinions on me as an artist stems further than just the artistry. Like, fuck his business too. And that's how this world it goes and things like that. So I'm great. I feel good that I'm able to have businesses that I don't have to attach my name to and just put some great marketing and get the same out of it that I would if my name was attached to it.
And you're telling me you're not a self-starter.
I'm a shit starter.
And you're telling me you're not a self-starter. You're like definition self-starter.
I mean, I guess.
Yeah.
Hustler turns to a businessman.
You get all your ice done from the same jeweler?
Yeah, from Mazza. Shouts to Mazza. He down in the district.
Oh. Upstairs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my guy Mazza.
Oh man, I've been there. I was in his showroom, and I mean, look at me. None of those chains in that showroom make sense on me. But I'm like, give me that one. And it was like Jesus, bloody Jesus.
Yes.
And I'm like,
I know that.
I'm like, how much is that? They're like 165. Like who?
I actually was going to buy that piece after Summer Jam one day, but
was it the middle finger? Because I tried that one on too. You know what I'm talking about?
The Jesus piece I actually was going to buy it. I brought the chain, but I didn't actually buy the piece. Yeah, shouts to Mazza, man. Great dude, man. I've been around jewelers for a lot of years, as you know, decades. Even before I got in the rap game, we were buying jewelry and shit like that. But he's absolutely one of the best jewelers that I've done business with. He's more than a jeweler now, as he became a friend.
And how do you find a jeweler that you resonate with?
Depends on how long you stay in the game. You're going to go through a lot of trial and error. Jewelers are tricky. They usually try to get over on people because people don't know the ins and outs of how jewelry go and things like that. I learned a lot about jewelry, and then, sometimes time doesn't lie again. You bump into the right people at the right time, and you forge a relationship that, he's like, should have been like this.
Have you thought of a collabo between Mazza and your glasses company?
Well, Mazza helps me out a lot. We do a lot of things that I help him out with, collabs and stuff like that. But once again, I don't really put too much on it.
Amen. We're in like the middle of 2024. This is the first episode of season 4 of the show. Mm-hmm. What does the rest of 2024 look like for Jim Jones?
Well, I'm in the midst of releasing my 20th year anniversary album to my first album, On My Way to Church. We're doing a new installment called At the Church Steps. I think that'll be pretty fun. I've been working my ass off for the past 6 months working on it.
Let's go.
So I'm excited about that. But there's a bunch of stuff that's going on this year that I'm looking forward to. But I'm happy. I'm healthy. I'm outside. I'm still making money. I'm still in the game that I love to be in. Can't ask for too much more, man.
And you got a tour attached to the album, or just a few shows?
We're working on a tour attached to the album. I definitely putting together a 20th year anniversary show. I think about October. I was supposed to do a big concert, so I'm excited about that also.
I fucking love this.
Hmm?
This is good stuff.
Yeah.
Give me one book recommendation.
A book?
A book recommendation for anybody.
A book?
A book.
The Bible.
Let's fucking go.
There ain't no better book than that. Teach you about everything.
Literally everything.
Life, business, morals, ups, downs, betrayal. Heard? The Bible. You niggas need the Bible.
You spiritual?
Very, very spiritual. I'm a God-fearing man. Always been like that. I've been raised in the church since a youngster. I don't know nothing else but God.
Huh. Do you have the same church you've been going to for a long time?
Well, yeah, I've only been in one church for my whole life. I haven't been to the
in
church.
Harlem?
Yes, in Harlem. Bethel Gospel Assemblies on 120th and Madison and 5th. It's still there to this day. They actually have a new, beautiful church they just built, like some multi-million-dollar church.
Same church?
Same church. Well, they had brought, when we were younger, they brought the whole city block that used to be a high school. My Uncle Sonny built the church with his bare hands. And, you know, as the church they had the opportunity to do a real estate play, and they built a high-rise on the backside of the block of the church. And I guess they made a deal where they could actually put the new church inside of the new high-rise and things like that. So,
that's beautiful.
Yeah. They making money over there. We all know churches is like banks.
That's smart, right? Mm-hmm. But talking about real estate, do you ever hands on any real estate?
I own a few homes. I urge my lady a lot to start to get into the real estate. She once had a real estate license, and I'm like, man, we need to get some buildings, some units, and start to get some.
Let's get her to Sirhan.
Oh man, I would love to. We talk about different real estate moves all the time and things like that. My partner who I have some stores with, he does good in real estate as he's been diving into that. So you know, we should get her at Sirhan, and we'll get her on the next season on Netflix. Oh, she would love that. Chrissy definitely would go crazy for that.
Yeah, Chrissy would probably crush on Netflix.
She's great. She's great at like she had a partner before where the partner they were doing real estate, and she was doing the interior design after they were finding houses and things like that. Like she's a genius when it comes to that. So you know. I'll be trying to encourage her to get back into that. I think it left a bad taste in the mouth when you do business with a person and it doesn't go the way you want to and things like that. But yeah, I'm going to tell her she would love to come on and do that. But she's very dope at that.
100%. How much do you kind of push her to do what she wants to do versus like not, like, yeah, you kind of like say, all right, here's a good idea, you should do this, but you don't want to be overbearing, right?
Sometimes you got to be overbearing. I mean, if you're in a relationship and things like that, that's what you're there for. You got to push your partner.
Bring the best out of them.
You got to try to bring the best out of them. Sometimes it backfires because you're so close in a relationship and things like that. But for the most part, when it settles in, they know that you're trying to do the best for them and want the best for them and things like that. You know what I mean? And it's vice versa. The woman's supposed to push her partner just as much as I'm supposed to push her. So, you know what I mean? It's a give and take situation. But we always try and make money and make business, and we always definitely talk about different strategies we can because we got so much reach and so much influence.
Does she have influence, or not does she? Because I know she does. How much influence did she have on the album coming out?
She's a part of my life, and if you know anything about my albums will reflect the times that I've been through, and usually from last album to the next album is what my life is all about. She's been there for the past 20 years, so every album that I've done, there's always been music that's been dedicated to her.
And what's the big banger coming out that we're going to start with?
I haven't picked out the single that, I got a single out right now called Two Turn that's doing extremely well right now. Y'all could go get that, go download it, stream it, beam it, just don't smoke it. Featuring my artists, Dilla and Taylor. Pretty dope. Been added to a few radio stations and stuff like that. Good summer record.
It's funny, you just said, not funny, but it's notable that you just said, I didn't pick the single yet. Is that how it works? You pick the single? It's not like a group thing where like it's like, all right, this is the banger?
Ultimately, you got the last say-so. I mean, as the artist. So when I say I didn't pick the single, that's what I mean. But for the most part, I run the records by so many people just to get a feel of which record stands out the most to everybody. But you kind of got a notion of what records stand out to you. Like, all right, let's see if it stands out to the people the same way it stands out to you. And that's kind of how you kind of get to where you at with it. And sometimes you pick the wrong record and there'd be an off record that start going, and then you got to jump on that record. I mean, so.
But you've been in the game long enough that you know.
I mean, yeah, you pretty much know, but nothing is 100%. I mean, you got to prepare. You got to have an audible. You got to have a contingency plan at all time dealing with life.
What's the rollout plan, if you could share?
Well, we want to do some different activations, like 20 days out from the album. So it's 20 years, so we do some 20, play with 20 a lot. You know what I mean? So there'll be a lot of different things you'll see with 20, especially around the city and shit.
Are numbers important in your life?
Numbers when it comes to money,
Like
not
what?
age.
Like what kind of stuff?
Like money, numbers. 1, 2, 3.
Like when you're counting, when you're making a stack, when you're making a stack, does this have to be 1,000 or does this have to be 1,200, 1,800? Is there
My
any?
stack's got to be even. Like, I mean, if it's either a stack, a 5 stack, a 10 stack, a 20 stack, or a 50 stack.
You ever order a brick of $2 bills?
No, I haven't ordered a brick of $2 bills, but I got a bunch of them.
No, you think you order a brick in the future? I mean, I think at this point I'm the only person
Who
who's ever
knows?
ordered a
Maybe
brick.
because as time goes on, we're going having small denomination dollars is going to be in your best interest because it's going to get funny in a minute.
To piggyback on talking about twos, tell me about your touch on crypto.
On crypto, oh man! I mean, well, they say crypto was
Had to
rising
touch on
again. Crypto was rising again. It wasn't a great space when we were all shut down in the house during the pandemic and things like that. We've seen so many people become rich and so many people end up going broke. But for the most part, it's opened up a lane of currency that we all know we're going to go into because everything is going digital. I got my own coin, Capital Coin. I have a community. It's done pretty good. I left everything sitting there after the pandemic and people start getting different. So when it starts to come around, get really strong again, I'm tap back in and start definitely using the things that I've started with the cryptocurrency and things like that. But for there's a lot of people that have been making a lot of money. I've seen like Iggy Azalea doing some type of new type of NFT that the people got to buy into and
Recently?
things like that. Yeah, recently.
Can you tell me about that? I'm not.
No,
I'm not familiar.
I don't know how it goes. I know how the NFT goes and things like that. I don't know if it was associated with music, but I seen the headlines and things like that, and a couple of people called me about it. But these things with these digital things is like kind of like flash and dash. Like they happen, some people get to capitalize off of it, and that's that. You know, like it was popular for 2 seconds, and now I don't hear about it no more.
Right, and like the NFTs go in the same bucket as like all the VR stuff. And
Yeah, but I mean,
up.
NFT is in the value of the person. Right? So when everybody got to go back outside, nobody valued their NFT anymore. If you're a smart enough person to know how to build a community, then you could build a NFT that's worth some money still, even today. You know what I mean? It's all about the community and what you trade in it for and things like that. You put value in the NFT if you smart enough.
Yeah. Do you know, so Gary V.
Mm-hmm. That's my guy.
Right, smart guy. He's got his V Friends.
Mm-hmm.
And he still does luncheons and different events for his NFT people, and he still like nurtures it, and that's a good example of somebody who really does it right. And if you're going to follow someone in business, he's not a bad person to follow.
And that's a great thing, you know what I mean, because it's a tool. It can be used for so many different things, especially if you do have a community, you know what I mean? So
that's what's up. Before I let you go, give me one word of advice for anyone trying to make it.
One word of it. Shit. Gotta get used to discouragement. Because this game is built to discourage you. The quicker they can X you out, leave a little bit more room for somebody else. You heard?
Jim Jones, Dipset. Let's go.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Thank you, bro.
That was solid.
Solid.